is that who we are is greater than who we think we are. And I'm saying that, and you've probably heard that through different philosophical modalities, self-help procedures. But I'm talking about something actual that you can measure it, almost like a scientist. Another way of saying is that who you are transcends the limits of your physical body and your current cluster of thoughts. Who you are transcends the limits of just your physical body and your current cluster of thoughts. So again, this morning I'd like to do a little bit of a thought experiment. If this cracks open just a little bit of doubt that who you are resides finitely in your body, I'll have done my work today. So I want to ask you to, how many of you brought your right hand with you this morning? Raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
If you didn't, your left hand will also work. Okay, so take a moment and really look at your right hand. Examine it. Look at it from every angle. If you look between your fingers, notice what you can notice. And then I want to invite you to settle into yourselves and close your eyes for just a moment. And direct your attention to your hand. Feel the maybe tingling sensation in the palm of your hand. You can flutter your fingers and feel the movement. Maybe you can brush your fingers against your palm, or you can clench your hand. And feel those sensations. And as you're feeling them, I want you to consider this one question. Right now, with your eyes closed, what else is there to your experience of your hand than physical sensation? Is there anything at all beyond sensation that gives you an experience of a hand?
Just the thought that it's there.
So the sensation of energy and the thought, the random thought about your hand. Maybe you like or don't like your hand, or you're feeling a little bit of a pain in it, and you're thinking about that. So beyond a random thought about your hand and the sensation you're feeling, is there anything else to the experience of a hand? And so you can come back and open your eyes. So visualization, I heard, which is a form of thought. So beyond a thought and a sensation, and now that your eyes are open again, a perception, is there anything else that the hand, independent of thought, sensation, and perception, produces an experience of a hand inside of you?
You make a sound with it. Snap your finger.
Sound. So a sound, a perception. You can hear a sound from that.
You can also use your hand to do work.
You can use your hand in various different ways, so you have a lot of ideas about how you can use your hand. But your experience of knowing that you have a hand, is there anything other than sensation?
No, sensation is feeling. Sensation is feeling.
You can
Sensation is feeling,
you can
yes.
hold something in your hand.
Yep, there are endless functions we all know that we could use. But our experience of our hand, at least our right hand, comes to us through perception, sensation, and thought. Now, we don't have to be a rocket surgeon in order to know that what applies to the right hand also applies to the left. And if I were to ask you to take a moment and turn to the person on either side of you and shake their hand for a moment. So other than seeing the person next to you's hand and the sensation of feeling it, is there anything to that experience of the other person's hand than sensation and perception, and maybe the thought you have about the touch of their hand?
Affinity. There's affinity. There's a shared experience.
So there's a shared experience and a thought about that shared experience, but that shared experience is maybe you're also feeling a corresponding emotional experience. But the actual tactile experience of the hand is coming through sensation and perception. Her hand is very cold, so he has a thought about that. And they'll talk about it later when they get home to him. And so this, we can quickly extrapolate that this applies, relative to hands, this applies to all hands without exception. So extrapolating from that, we can see this applies to all people without exception, and to our physical body. What applies to our hands applies to every other part of our body. We experience a body through perception, sensation, and thought. Minus that, we have no experience of a body. And sometimes we're not thinking about our body, we're not sensing something, or we're not perceiving something. So experience of a body drops away. But we who know that experience, we who know that sensation, we who know that thought, are never absent for a moment. Because who we are is the eternal knower of our experience, not the content of our experience. Now, one of the reasons it's helpful to know this is because we make every decision of our life based on an illusion that we've been conditioned to believe. We are conditioned to believe that who we are is a finite object, and that this finite object has the capacity to be damaged, to be diminished, to be destroyed by other objects that exist in the world. If who we are resides only in a physical body, it would make sense that that was true. We would have those fears, we would grow up trying to mitigate those fears, we would try to... We would grow up trying to defend ourselves against threats from other objects. We would try to acquire the objects that we think would enhance our situation. And so all of life is lived as a reaction to a separate world of objects. When we start to know that who we are is the awareness of those objects outside and those objects that are us, and all of a sudden everything we're doing takes on a different understanding. And the ultimate benefit is that we are freed from the tyranny of outcome, freed from the tyranny of needing something in the world to be different in order to be fundamentally better than we are. And when that realization sets in, suddenly, even if our circumstances are exactly the same as they were before, we're living in a completely different life. So I have a couple of minutes for questions. And I know that was a lot, especially early in the morning. Mark.
I have a testimonial. I haven't sat and worked with Joel, but I've sat and had coffee like he asked people to do. And it's great when you're not sure what someone does. For example, like Hannah sells credit card services. Lenny is a pet sitter. It's kind of not obvious, but more self-explanatory. Joel, I really didn't know what he really did, and when I think of coaches, I think more business coaches, and he's a resilience coach. But sitting with him and listening to him and talking with him and understanding what he does, I really appreciated it and you and your work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So just quickly, so the sort of coaching I'm doing, I'm not even certain that coaching is the correct noun for what it is that I do. Because often when I say I'm a resilience coach, people go, oh, I want more units of that. Yes, I can really see needing more units of resilience. But what I help you see is that you are made of resilience, and it's unlimited. And so is everybody else. Christina?
So Joel, what particular type of client do you find your work can heal or help that you're seeking from us to find for you? Like, how can we know?
So any niche that I put on would be artificial, but something that's really helpful right now is I'm starting a new program for caregivers who work like maybe in assisted living homes or work with special needs kids or teachers who are burnt out from their caregiving or imagine that they're burnt out from it. It's a program I'm calling Your Own Oxygen Mask First, and I have a lead at the Sunrise Senior Living Center in Santa Monica, but people like that would be great to be introduced to these days.
Joel, I'm still not very clear. If I understand what you're saying, you help people to motivate themselves, or is it more about pumping yourself or healing internally? What exactly is that? I'm still not very clear.
I'm sorry, BJ, our time's up. He can answer that to you specifically after the meeting, but that's a great reason to have coffee with him.
Yeah,
Great.
have coffee with them.
So quickly, I do the opposite of that. Thank you very much.